Welcome to Decades of Horror, the classic era.
Alan, we're in big trouble. The cloud is splitting up.
This is episode 129, recorded July 10th, 2022.
Gruesome Magazine.
I think before we go any farther, it's time to introduce our co-ghosts. First up is Daphne.
Hi, guys.
This is great. keep those tentacles out of the camera there. It's like
Hilarious.
that's about how it worked, too.
Yeah. Oh, I can't see anything though, but that's okay.
I think that
Anyway.
Oh, man, I thought you were going to keep it on the whole show.
I might need to.
Well, is that your Halloween project then? Oh,
No, it was just something to get me through until we got a decision on what the Halloween project was going to be. So.
okay.
That's cool.
You just couldn't stop yourself, huh?
No.
You did an awesome job on that.
That
Yeah,
that's awesome. I
Thanks,
couldn't even.
guys.
All right. I'm your host. I am the host, Jeff.
You're
Moore.
somebody, apparently.
On this podcast, we cover the good, the bad, and maybe even the ugly horror films released since the beginning of time through 1969. In each episode, we'll discuss the monsters, spirits, psychos, and villains that have haunted movie-going audiences since the dawn of film history. We are available on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel and most podcast apps. And we are also on 3 of the Play Now Media streaming channels, the Classic Sci-Fi Movie Channel, the Classic Horror Movie Channel, and the Wicked Horror TV channel. So check us out there. And in fact, this film is available on those. Those apps are, you can watch them for free. I think you get to see about 80% of the content with commercials. I'm not exactly sure. I should check with Michael on that. And then if not, it's $6 a month, I believe.
Yeah, there's stuff on there that's just there's stuff on there that you can't see anywhere else.
Yeah. I get on there and I can't stop watching.
And there's a bunch of cool stuff from the 70s on there. And the 80s.
Yeah. I forget, what did I watch the other night? Well, it's Santo and El Vampiro Mujeres. Is that
Vampire Women?
The Vampire Women. But it's actually the English version. They changed it to Samson, which is like really ridiculous. So when he's in his wrestling match and people are chanting Santo, 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 and then the ringside guy goes, Samson, how are you doing? You know,
we're using code names.
Anyway, with me this week are my incredible co-ghosts, Whitney Caiazzo, an accomplished artist, makeup artist, and writer. Whitney, how you doing?
I'm good. I am good. How are you guys?
As long as it's not crawling, I'm good. Also with us is Chad Hunt, co-host of Decades of Horror, the All of Them, and
Uri last one.
Heroes and Droids, sometimes.
Most of the time.
And a producer, director with Wreak Havoc Productions, and a comic book artist and writer. I've got a stack of Chad Hunt originals, Wolverines, and some other stuff.
Do you?
Very cool.
I do.
That's right.
I should have brought them with me to North Carolina to get signed by the...
Oh, that'll just devalue them. You probably found those all in the dollar box anyway.
Hey, they were wrapped in plastic. So,
well, yeah, anything you wrap in plastic is going to be worth something or give the appearance of being worth something.
Oh, Chad.
I'm good, by the way.
Also with us is Daphne, who is awesome, stupendous, likable as hell, and showing off her costume making skills,
which are awesome, I might say.
Thank you. It's fun.
Formidable.
And you guys can't see because of my silly camera set up, but I have this guy too.
That's Spock, right?
But this is Spock, but he's filling in. He's filling in for
the crawling eye sitting on top of the observatory is reeling him.
Lawrence Payne, filling in for Lawrence Payne. That's
he should have a red shirt on.
That would be good. That would be very good.
That's great.
On this podcast, we start by giving some basic details of the film we're covering. Then we do taglines, first impressions, and then we take off talking about stuff in general related to the movie.
Usually take off way this way.
Yeah, I do. I usually do. I'm not talking. You heard it here first. I'm not talking this time. All right. Chad's not. You didn't hear that from Chad. See?
No. I know better.
Our topic is the crawling eye, if you're from the U.S., or the Trollenberg Terror, if you're from across the pond. 1958, directed by Quentin Lawrence, written by Jimmy Sangster.
Our old
screenplay, anyway, from a story by Peter Key, which we will hear more about, who Peter Key really is. Production company is Tempian Films. Was filmed at Southall Studios, Middlesex, England. Filming dates that began filming in July 29th, 1957. The release date was October 7th, 1958 in the UK, and December 31st, 1958 in the US. As I already mentioned, it was also known as the Trollenberg Terror, which is the original title, Die Teufelswolke von Montanville, which is the Devil's Cloud of Montanville.
Holy cow.
I Mostri della Rocce Atomica, the monster of the atomic rocks in Italy.
Interesting.
Truly an international film.
Yeah, with lots of different titles.
They all sound like Doc Savage novel titles.
The synopsis: a series of decapitations on a Swiss mountainside appear to be connected to a mysterious radioactive cloud. The cloud turns out to be inhabited by horrible alien creatures who like to decapitate humans and are also in telepathic communication with certain people. Only certain people. And there it is, a crawling eye. Not crawling. I promise we'll see a crawling eye before we.
That's nasty.
Anymore. I don't really have any budget or box office information on this, but we do have taglines, and these, I'm telling you, are some of the best taglines I've ever seen, ever.
Really?
Yes.
You've read them, right? You read them.
I have. These are awesome.
All right.
Chad sounds skeptical.
I am. I've read them. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your taglines for this episode, The Crawling Eye. Tagline number 1, waiting, watching, wanton.
They had to stretch for that last W.
They sure did. It couldn't have been warning or something like that. Wanton. Let's just go with wanton. All right. This second one has me totally perplexed and well, anyway, let me read it. Warning, if you've ever been hypnotized, do not come alone. But if you have been hypnotized, it's all right to go by yourself if you haven't been hypnotized so much.
It's the eye.
Yeah, Yeah.
Look into my eye.
I told you these were good.
Look into my eye. You want me to start the examination right away, JJ? Some of you will get that. Number 3, a man dissolves, and out of the oozing mist comes the hungry eye, slave to the demon brain, which we never saw.
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
You know, you're right. I guess the
way it's
never
worded.
dissolved, did they?
Yeah, well, there was a man that dissolved, but there was crap going on way before he dissolved.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, and I still want to know, and the punctuation is important, everyone. The comma after hungry eye makes it look like there was a demon brain that everyone was slave to, but it wasn't the hungry eyes.
Well, because it's not the hungry eye slave.
Right.
It's
It's
the
the hungry eye who is
slave.
slave to the demon brain, who escaped in the mist, I guess, at the end. The nightmare terror of the slithering eye that unleashed agonizing horror on a screaming world. There's something way wrong with how this... Anyhow.
Crawling,
kind of slithering.
Slithering eye that unleashed agonizing horror on a screen. The
Screaming
nightmare...
world.
Yeah. It won't... Okay.
Now the best ones.
Yeah, okay. None can escape the slithering terror spawned from a nuclear hell. What? Horror! Terror spawned from a nuclear hell, lusting for another taste of human blood. Maybe yours. I missed the part where they spawned from a nuclear hell.
Yeah.
Okay. And it didn't feel like they had a taste for human blood so much as decapitation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like you'd get more if you vivisected the human rather than just cut the head off. You get more blood. But that's just me. My manifesto is... No. And the last one, which I find the most hilarious, is It's Looking for You.
Genius in its simplicity.
It has no choice but to look at those that it's looking at.
Has no choice but to look at those who are looking at it.
The unblinking eye that never looks away.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh.
God, I'm glad that's over.
Well, we should probably move to first impressions here.
I thought that
This
pretty
is my
much covered
pick.
first impressions.
This is my pick. I'm claiming it. And interestingly enough, I'm so glad that we got this picked and that we were going to do it on, it was scheduled for July 3rd, but that was a holiday weekend. So we moved it till the 10th, and I'm glad we did. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. In the meantime, I really like this. I mean, the eye effects are a little cheesy, but I really like how they sort of parcel out the story. You know, we get this like terrible thing at the beginning where the guy's head gets ripped off, and then from that point on, we just get little bits of information. We get the train ride, we get the mind reading, we get the cloud, we get the goofy German professor, and I don't know. I like Janet Monroe. I think she's really good in this. I like Forrest Tucker. He's decent. The guy that plays the German professor, Warren Mitchell, is terrible but awesome at the same time.
Yes.
And with that, I think I will let it go. I wish they could have, you know, the crawling eye. I don't know if they're supposed to be tentacles or legs, but
Tentalegs.
Tentalegs. Yeah.
Leg.
So anyway, we'll go from there. But I'm going to stop there. But I like it. It's a fun movie. It really is a fun movie, and it kept me interested. And the eyes are just like I'm just sort of agog. There it is again. All right. Well, let's go to Daphne. Daphne this time. Had you seen this before? What are your impressions?
Sorry, I was still laughing about Legacles, but
they're the worst.
I was trying to think when I had first seen it, because I know I've seen it before at least a couple of times, but I don't know if I saw it, on its own, like maybe on the weekend or something, or if I saw it first with MST3K. But I know I'd seen it before. I can't say when, and it's the cloud. The cloud around the mountain and the crazy eye. It's great. It's great. And I remember, and this time when I watched it again, I had forgotten that it starts off with such a bang. Like there's this decapitated guy, and he's not even cleanly decapitated, like with the guillotine. His head is torn off,
yeah,
and he falls down. Whoa. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
It is. It is. Is that it for you at this point?
Well,
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have stuff to talk about, but it's just a silly, fun movie.
Well, let's go to Whitney.
Well, I have never seen this before, and I think it's really wild. I mean, yeah. So Jeff mentions that the effects are cheesy, but I mean, sometimes I like cheese. So I mean, seeing the decapitations, the effects, I mean, that's the really fun stuff. Even if it is cheesy, I mean, I just loved seeing, all the crazy stuff happening with this eye, like throughout the film. But not just that, but then seeing the dynamic between two sisters, who I'm sure we're going to talk about, is the Janet Monroe and as Anne, and then Jennifer as Sarah. So I mean, I liked their relationship, and also just knowing that there's, like Daphne had said, there's a lot of fun going on in this crazy film. I don't even know what to say, other than what I've just said. Yeah.
Okay. It's fun. I like cheese.
Yeah.
Chad, how you doing?
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
This is one that I've always seen pictures of in horror mags and different music videos. I've seen Rob Zombie or somebody like that use that crawling eye advancing in music videos. But I've always wrote it off as, this is just one of those crappy B movie pieces of junk that I'm never going to watch. So, much to my surprise, Jeff comes and tells me we're going to watch it for this episode. So I watched it. This is the first time I've watched it. And again, I was going in expecting nothing. And but then I saw Jimmy Sangster wrote it, and the original title being the Trollenberg Terror. And after watching it, it just reminded me of a Quatermass movie in a way. So I really, really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the, it was dark, almost like a noir film. And that could have been from the production company. They did a lot of crime. What was it? Tempian did a lot of crime dramas and stuff. So that could be where that sort of came over from that. But I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed the decapitations, people walking right into danger, even though they knew there was danger there, still walking right into it. the two sisters. I really liked them. I thought they were really, really cool. Forrest Tucker, I liked. I liked everybody,
Mhm.
even Alice Cooper, the guy that was the newspaper guy. He was good in this.
Oh, yeah.
He
So
did.
it kind of looked like a
Yeah,
Cropped
I just expected him to bust out into Man Behind the Mask or something like that. But
Nice.
yeah, I really, really, really liked it. I really liked it a lot, and like I said, it reminded me a lot of Quatermass and a film noir type of thing. And you didn't get a whole lot of the creatures until the end. But and yeah, they were kind of cheesy and cheap looking, but they were still, the idea behind them were really good, I thought, and it was a really well thought out idea. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I did too. We'll take a look at some posters to start with, because this is one that's got a lot of good posters, I think. This is the one you see the most, and I'm not convinced. Yeah, they managed to get at least 3 taglines on there, and distributed by DCA, the company that brought you Rodan.
Oh, I can see how they're similar, Rodan, in this movie. So.
Yeah.
Huge eye.
Yeah. With another lady that looks like she's in the throes of some kind of
Right. And a slip.
Something's happening to her that we didn't see.
Or no slip, whatever this is going on, whatever's going on here. It should be Forrest Tucker in the
in the dress being
in the dress and getting choked to death.
Yes.
Well, I hadn't read that about Forrest Tucker, but you never know. Well, and this is
none of my business, but I'm just saying maybe he's the one that should have been choked. He can dress however
similar.
he likes.
Oh, this is like right. I didn't notice this one. That tagline is right out of the Tingler Scream. It is the only way to relieve the tension.
It is. It is.
It is the only way.
Oh, I should have got this for the
Or
tagline.
you could cry like Forrest
Hey.
Tucker's doing in the little insert picture there. You can cry. Maybe that'll.
Yeah, he is.
Why can't it be me in the embrace of the crawling eye?
Yeah, trapped in its strangling embrace. You are slave to the most horrendous science fiction horror ever known. Gosh, I missed that one. Should have had
That's
that
a
one on
bold
the-
statement.
Mhm.
The strangling
cool-
embrace.
It's a very. I love the color in it. I love the color in this
Yeah.
poster. It looks so nice. It's so good.
It's Freddy Krueger sweater night.
That's pretty nice.
Well,
Oh,
and,
God.
The top one's a DVD cover, I believe.
I've been hypnotized. I shouldn't have came alone.
Don't look.
And just a landscape of the same thing. And they always have all these people down here on this DCA thing. Nothing great there, but now we get an Italian one that emphasizes, well, we do have the crawling eye in the middle, but we
have a Mount Rushmore in the Alps for Forrest Tucker.
Screaming woman in a low-cut red dress and the evil Brett at the top. I think a more harmless sounding name, the evil Brett.
Oh my gosh. Italians and their colorful posters.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Well,
Very red.
yes.
It's not
But
a
if
choking
that
the
doesn't-
girl. Choking the girl.
That's not enough color for you.
Mm.
We'll get another Italian poster. Oh, now
Yeah,
she's
you can
hanging
tell
on
what's
the
going on.
Yeah.
tentacles.
Yeah, wow. That's insane.
Look, there's Legicals everywhere.
I'm just gonna
There
start
are.
calling it spaghetti. Like,
Just
Yeah.
spaghetti. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Spaghetti.
nice spaghetti. And lastly, the German poster. I just love it.
Yeah. I like that one too, and it makes me think of like an old pulp novel, like
Mhm.
just sitting on
Yeah,
one of the little
yeah.
spinny things with at the
Yeah.
bookstore,
He's got
Oh,
got the
wow,
big like hook machete thing there too.
Yeah.
He's up to no good, but that eye's keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
And the color too is amazing. And then this one, they have the pink. It's just
Mhm.
What's
it's
the little
really
fairy, pink fairies?
cool. I don't know what those are.
That is
I
so
have no
misleading.
idea what that is.
It's so misleading.
maybe it's part of the spaghetti. I don't know.
Yeah,
The spaghetti.
Yes.
Sauce. It was the sauce. Yeah.
Sauce.
it's being enveloped by the fairies. in this little
Yes.
sauce.
So the reason I said it was good that we didn't do this until the 10th was because I got this in the mail yesterday.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
Issue 48 of Little Shop of Horrors magazine, which is all about films from Tempian. And Baker and Berman were the owners and the producers. And Berman was also the cinematographer for a lot of them. So they were very hands-on producers in terms of making decisions. So anyway, this is great. This cover art, by the way, is by Mark Maddox.
It's awesome.
Mark is
Yeah.
the man when it comes to monster paintings.
It's awesome. And so just for people that don't know anything about Little Shop of Horrors, it's the Journal of British Horror, and the owner publisher who's been doing this for 50 years. Sporadically, these are very dense issues. They're about 100 pages with size 8 font. I mean, oh wow, it's like hard to read. Here's mine, just to prove I really did have one.
Cool.
But he's closing up shop in about a year. I think he's got 2 more issues and a couple of books they're putting out. There's a book coming out later this summer on the British films of AIP, which should be pretty
That sounds really cool.
So anyway, throwing you a plug there, Dick, who lives in Des Moines, Iowa. Another plug for...
Yeah, I mean, I want to read all of these. It's like getting your PhD or your master's in British in British horror movies.
Yes.
So go to the
amazing.
website, look up, just search Little Shop of Horrors magazine. It'll get you right to the website, and the back issues are available. So hey, go for it. Don't know how long they'll be out there.
Right.
This is a big plug. Here's another one not too long ago.
Oh, so good. Look at that.
Features the Gorgon. What a painting of
the artists that are on the covers and inside. They're so good. They're so good.
And now that you mentioned it, Al's got one in here too. I'm going to feel bad about this if I get it wrong. I believe it's this one. And I'm not coordinated enough to put this right up to the camera.
Very cool. But look how tiny that font is.
It's,
I know.
yeah.
You guys are getting so much words packed into a page.
So there's an article on this film too. So I should end the commercial here for Little Shop of Horrors. But Dick joined us. Dick Clemenson joined us for our episode on the horror of Dracula, which was right about when this episode came out.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So cool.
So anyway,
Awesome stuff.
it's great stuff. All right. Back to the film. So actually, so this was we're going to talk about this a little bit, but Peter Key was a pseudonym for 3 people: George Carr, Jack Cross, and Giles Cooper, who wrote the series that this movie is based on. So there was a series, the Trollenberg Terror, I believe, or actually, what was it originally called? The Pilgrim something or another. I'll think of it here in a second. But those 3 people were billed as
The Pilgrim's
Key.
Way. Pilgrim's Way.
Because of the Pilgrim Sisters. So it was a 6th episode thing on ITV, not BBC.
6 half-hour episodes.
And sadly, none of those tapes were ever saved, and neither was a script. So the only thing that we really know about it is it must have done fairly well because they jumped all over this movie right away. And then Jimmy Sangster wrote the script for the movie. So, anyway. So that's the Jimmy Key thing where it says story by Peter Key. It's actually George Carr, Jack Cross, and Giles Cooper from the original television show. And Quentin Lawrence, who directed this, also was producer and director for the television show. So there's definite continuity there, right?
Yeah.
All right. Look at some of the folks from the main cast. So we've got the Pilgrim sisters. Anne Pilgrim, who is has telepathic abilities, right? Mind reading abilities. Played by Janet Monroe, is laying in bed. And Jennifer Lane plays her sister Sarah Pilgrim. They're on the left. And of course, that's Warren Mitchell as Professor Krevitt, and Lawrence Payne as Philip Truscott, the newspaper man who played the same character in the TV show. So that's in the top picture. The bottom picture is Forrest Tucker as Alan Brooks, who says he's a specialist in, I forget what he says he is.
I just know for the United Nations, but I don't know what he said he was other than a specialist.
He investigates science fiction movies for the United Nations. And the professor again on the right, and laying there is Brett, the mountain climber.
Brett.
Just before he dissolves, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
As he was possessed by played by Andrew Faulds. So anyway, and then just to feature a couple of them, I thought Janet Monroe was excellent.
Yes.
I remember her from Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was kind of a much bigger hit. I think this was her first feature, possibly. Look that up, but
yeah, I think she did that after this, though.
Right. What did she do after that? Oh, she was in The Day the Earth Caught Fire too. Yeah, which is actually a movie that Dick Clements had recommended to me that I watched not too long ago. That's pretty good. Kind of freaky. And then, of course, we have Forrest Tucker, and we know Forrest Tucker from, I think, probably the first time I became really aware of him was F Troop. As Sergeant O'Rourke. I should have put a picture of him with Corporal Agarn, Larry Storch, who just passed away 2 days ago. And what's that middle picture there, Daphne?
That's from a Columbo episode.
It is.
I'm embarrassed to say I can't tell you the name of it, but I know that he gets killed by a nasty architect.
Yes. So. I read all that stuff, but I can't remember the name of it either. It seems to be like Blindfold was in the title, but I can't remember.
The episode was called Blueprint for Murder.
Blueprint for Murder.
That's it. Blueprint. Well, that makes sense with an architect.
Yeah. Look out for those
architects. But yeah, he is just a real obnoxious Texas oil man, right? And then the bottom picture with Peter Cushing. It's from The Abominable Snowman.
Yeah, it looks that looks really good.
The Hammer film. Yeah, Forrest Tucker was good. The other thing I remember him from is Chisholm, the John Wayne movie.
I definitely feel like I've seen him in a lot of stuff, but I couldn't tell you what it was. He's a
lot of TV
stuff. Yeah.
Same here.
Well, through the 40s and 50s, he did tons and tons of westerns.
Yeah,
he was also in Sands of Iwo Jima, John Wayne movie. Yeah, but lots of war movies too. I mean, you look through the list: Submarine Raider, Counter Espionage. There's a Boston Blackie goes Hollywood. So yeah, The Gunfighters, Adventures in Silverado, Coroner Creek, two guys from Texas. It's pretty good actor. Seemed to be pretty solid. So
he was also in the Strange World of Planet X, which was a double feature with the Crawling Eye.
Oh, he was in both of them, huh?
Yeah.
And that was another TV series that Tempian did.
Oh,
about the same time as that, and then they made into a movie. So this was like their kickoff into moving from those crime films into a more of a that were sort of also rans on the theater into copying Hammer. Basically. Hey, they're making money.
Well, I thought he did really good in this movie. I totally kind of felt his kind of quiet, it just kind of a man of not many words, and didn't want to get involved really what was going on because of what happened in the past. And I thought he did really good. I really liked his character.
Did a Night Gallery too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's got that. You're right. He plays this character. He's very unassuming, really. He's sitting in this train booth with these two sisters, and he isn't trying to, put the moves on or anything. He's just sitting there reading his paper, minding his own business, so to speak. And it's kind of like that when they get to the lodge. He's waiting to talk to the professor.
And you don't really know like what he does or why he's there or why the professor would care about him so much. It's like he's just this guy.
Yeah.
And but you can tell that he has this history, behind him, and this past, and that he definitely has something that's important. And but just plays it very, very quiet. And I like that.
He has this kind of wait and see attitude, because every time somebody would ask him something, he would be like, "I don't know."
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. But he knew more than he was letting on.
Exactly.
Well,
and you knew that there was more going on. Yeah.
Well, and then when he'd learn something, when somebody else would say something and he'd learn something, you'd kind of see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he'd go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I liked how he jumped into action when he like jumped on the phone to call up to that little cabin. It's like he knew, like he knew what was going on, kind of, or he suspected
like he had
something.
Yeah, he had his own idea of what was going on, but he didn't want to say out loud at the time. Yeah,
yeah, he didn't need to. He was just kind of there. Yeah, I really liked that. I feel like you don't see a lot of characters like that. So I thought that was that really attracted to me to the story, that there would be a character like this.
Yeah,
as kind of the main character.
He wasn't your average B movie hero guy.
Yeah.
He was. He had a little more depth to him than that.
What about? Let's go back to Janet Monroe for a minute, because I really liked her because she had to play this. It's kind of weird because when she's first on the train, you don't quite get what's the relationship with her sister. You learn it's her sister, but she's like sleeping in her lap, and it's her sister's sort of protective other. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, it definitely could have been one of those things where she's just like a baby, or like treated like a child. And I feel like it kind of started going that way, but then she just kind of had strength to herself and kind of some identity and agency. And I thought that was cool, because she could have just been, and her face is very youthful and her haircut's really youthful. So she could have been just this kind of, victim. And I thought she was more than that. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Whitney.
Oh no, it's just she was a key part in trying to get the visual, like her foreseeing or seeing and feeling what's going on with this mountain. And then I mean, we see it like in the beginning because she's looking out in the window in the train, and she's looking at that cloud, and that's when she faints, and then that's where we get the initial idea. Okay, there's a connection there, and that establishes that strange ability that she's going to tap into.
Mhm.
But
Except,
no,
except, what was the second guy's name that was zombified? Was it Hans?
Hans.
That
Yeah.
Hans. When he came back, she looked at him and she was like, "This guy's here to kill us all."
Right.
I'm gonna go back here and lay down for a little bit.
Yes, that was kind of weird.
I'm not gonna warn anybody that Hans is a zombie now. I'm just gonna go back in.
That was kind of weird. Yeah.
Because she looked at him, she's like, "Go." And
Yeah,
then
I know. This
She
is not
does.
right.
She does.
You're absolutely right. But Whitney, you're right. She dispenses a lot of the story.
Yes.
Kind of moves it
Yeah.
along. And even when, like, in the train, and then later on when they're kind of sharing their little act or whatever, she's telling you what's going on, and you don't even have to see it. You can see it because she's explaining it, and then they give you a little bit about what's going on, so then you have this picture in your head.
Yeah.
But that was a really good way to get the story going on.
Absolutely.
And she was written very smart.
Mm-hmm.
We learned from her sister that she just recently started learning she had this ability, where they were first using signals and stuff to communicate with each other to do this stuff. She started to figure out she really had the ability. So you got that feeling that she was really new to this. So all these images and all this stuff that was getting into her brain was like kind of overwhelming her. And so I thought that was a cool aspect of her character, that she was new to this. So she couldn't really sit back and go, these creatures are from the planet, blah, 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 which they would have done in a lesser movie. I think they would have explained too much.
And I love that was her backstory. I mean, they kind of were scamming, people a little bit, and then she really had this gift. I mean, that's good. I like that about them.
Yeah. Well, it's neat how you find it out about her too, because her sister is kind of babying her a little bit, but you find out later it's because using the telepathy or the mind reading takes a lot out of her, takes a lot of energy out of her, and she needs a rest. So her sister's trying to take care of her, but you don't know that at the time. Then all of a sudden she jumps up and goes, "We're getting off at Trelleborg," and the sister goes, no, we're going to Geneva. No, we're getting off now. Okay. So it's kind of neat how that develops. And then like you said, the little act, and then the professor says, "You don't use a code, do you?" So you find all those things out. It's really kind of neat. Well, no, we used to, but we found out we didn't need to.
I guess I didn't pick out until you guys started talking about it. It's really how well the story is laid out, and how well it moves along. Gives you the information. Gives the audience the information. It's really, really well thought out.
Well, I like too how her face is very expressive, and so that's why there's a couple of these wide-eyed looks on there. But she there's a lot that's information that we get when something's going on with her, but there's no talking about it. You just know she's like getting or feeling something from the aliens, I guess. And at one point, all we know is she's trying like hell to get to the aliens, and nobody will let her. They keep fighting her back, keeping an eye on her. So yeah, I thought she was really good in that. So I call these people the pod people, or the eye possessed people, Brett. That's right before he uses that big machete to kill the two guys looking for Dewhurst. It's an evil looking character. But that was a great scene. Then when
I thought he did a great job when they were at the bar and he was able to light his cigarette, pour the drink himself and stuff like that. Almost like he didn't know how to do it, which he kind of did not, I guess, since he was.
Well, he certainly couldn't control his hands very well. That's for sure.
No. They were like spaghetti. No.
Just like spaghetti.
Yes, just like spaghetti. Forrest Tucker is really zeroed in on it.
Yeah.
Like, what's
Is he
wrong
gonna
with
be
this
able to
idiot?
do this? Well, and then he lets loose that was something that happened in the Andes because he and the professor had been on a similar case. And then the bottom shot there is
That's
Hans
Hans.
runs away because he's going to drive away, even though everybody knows he's going to drive right into the cloud.
Oh.
Hans, who could have been stopped right at the front door when he came in, but no. Miss Janet had to go back in the back and take a nap.
Yeah, and Pilgrim.
I thought they both did a good job of, being menacing. You're just like,
Oh,
ooh,
yeah.
grow.
When Hans was standing in the door and he's like,
Yeah.
should have tipped
Well, he
somebody
kill
off.
somebody, exactly. Hey, wait a
He was
second.
a little weird at the beginning, though, even from
Yeah.
the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get him to tell him what do the villagers say about this, and then he just walks away.
And all these brilliant scientists standing around you going, yeah, Hans said he was kind of hot too, just like Brett was.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they're going, what?
Yeah. Then Alice Cooper goes, oh my God, Anne.
Hans.
Whoops.
Well, yeah. So we have some. We got to get to the star of the show here, the titular character. So this two sequences in the door, I love. It bursts the door down, and then this little kid who.
It's always a little kid.
It's always a little kid causing problems.
I know.
I want to play jump rope with this spaghetti.
Hey, there's my ball, and her mother
Yeah.
doesn't notice that she doesn't get
Yeah.
on the tram or doesn't.
Yeah. Wait, my daughter's still down there. Yeah, we've only been standing around here for an hour and a half, lady.
So
Just now notice your daughter's missing.
Oh.
they don't ask much of that little girl, do they?
Not much. She looks like down below. She goes, "Can I have my candy now?" I did what you told me to do.
She just stands there and doesn't really scream or act,
Yeah. Well, if I saw a big giant floppy spaghetti eye in the doorway.
Well, the Legicals are pretty obviously having wires.
Yeah.
Swing them around. It's not particularly. 1958.
Going back to Brett and Hans for 1 second. They're dead. They're both dead.
Yeah.
But for some reason they're susceptible to being killed again by gunshots and stab wounds.
Yeah, actually, when they figure out about Brett, or he sees Anne, and then he all of a sudden takes off after her, and they hit him over the head, and he doesn't bleed. He gets a big gash in his head. There's no blood.
And they mentioned
But then he
that.
was shot. Didn't they?
And then you could shoot him. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're already dead.
But he's already been dead for 24 hours. There is no doubt. You see, certain things happen when you die.
Certain
It
things
cannot be
happen.
reversed.
Boy, Hans is really manhandling Anne down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
They do. They
she gets thrown around a little bit.
Yeah.
she does. So yeah, Alan Brooks saves the little girl from the eye.
Mhm.
And then, we one more little piece. This is such a quick flash. It's almost like not even in the movie. I was surprised I could find a picture of it, but right off the bat, when Alan Bates and the sisters get to the lodge, they meet Dewhurst, who's a geologist, and Brett, who's his guide. That are going to go up the mountain. And they go up. First, you go to the observatory by the tram, then you climb a little ways and you get to the cabin. And they're staying in the cabin, but the crawling eye takes Brett. And then Dewhurst is sleeping, doesn't even know what's going on. And later, the crawling eye comes and gets him, I think. Maybe it was Brett. Must have been, I don't know. Whatever it was. Took his head, because when they go up there to look for him, they find his body under the bed.
Under the
and
bed.
The head's gone.
Inside of a locked cabin from the inside.
Yes. Apparently they have the power of osmosis. They can just infiltrate walls of some kind.
Maybe the spaghettical got in somehow.
Through the cracks.
Yeah.
Reach through the window and open the door.
And that's another thing about these things. They took the heads off some people, but not others.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It is.
Wish they'd make their mind up.
So then these other two mountain climbers that are part of the search party, apparently we've never seen them before, I don't think. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they're doing the most hilarious radio contact. This is the plane to the party. Plane to party. Party. Plane, this is party.
The way they were talking to each other on the radios was killing me.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Forrest Tucker's like, just shut up and do what you're told. Over.
And they see, apparently the helicopter sees Brett wave his hand or something up there. And so they go looking for him. And I love it because the German guy comes. I wish I'd wrote this down, but it's kind of, look. Einen Sie Rucksacker, or something like that. Look at his backpack. So they go up and look in the backpack, and they find Dewhurst's head. Although that doesn't look like Dewhurst, but I guess he had a beard. But it's in his rucksack.
Brett.
And as they're transfixed by the head in the bag, Brett comes running over the outcropping.
Brett laid a trap.
Yeah.
They'll be shocked
once they see that head, they're all mine.
Oh.
And then the bottom picture is when the newspaper man, Truscott, says, "Hey, I want to throw one of those flamey things."
Yeah. Right.
Runs outside, and it turns out, there's an eye creature on top of the observatory they didn't think about. Swings him back and forth, but when I'm okay with most of the effects, but when that tentacle grabs and they show it pull the guy up, and it's obviously like, it looks like it's little clay figure from Gumby or something.
Oh yeah.
Like you expect him to go, oh boy. But then later they have him swinging back and forth in this shot, and you see the eye behind him up there. So the Sangster's original version of the monster was that it was a huge brain mass, and that it walked on these tentacles. It was raised off the ground, and it didn't have any eyes. It didn't need an eye. So actually Daphne's cosplay was a lot better than she thought, because she didn't need to see either. She could just use her mental powers.
Exactly. Massive mental powers.
But the eye is pretty cool.
That makes a lot more sense, because that's how they're communicating with everybody, right?
Yeah.
With the mental powers. Yeah.
True.
Well, maybe they could see through Hans and Brett's eyeballs or something.
I don't know. Yeah.
And
I got it.
Just to give.
I was just going to say, we were talking about Brett and the other and Hans. I liked how I almost was wondering if like maybe if they were somehow just skinned, like somehow they had been skinned and were over. I'm just the way that they acted, like not being able to light the cigarette and not being able to walk and be like, so I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting because it made me think a little bit more about, okay, so if they're dead, are they just, I guess maybe they were just, the guys were just using their minds to manipulate their bodies. I don't know.
Vincent D'Onofrio from Men in Black.
Well, yeah, not as cool as that, but yeah. Or kind of like little, you know, those little string puppets almost, just like kind of like the way that they couldn't really move, you know.
You ready to pour that drink for me?
Yeah, exactly.
They could walk okay, but let's not ask any fine motor skills.
Any fine motor skills, exactly.
Yeah. Sit down. Right to the floor. I forgot.
All right. Well, just to give people a little better feeling of the eye.
Yay!
Great.
I love this.
Burst through the door.
Hi, my name's Lenny.
And it's, you know, it's really supposed to be like a giant brain with an eyeball in the middle of it, I guess. But it ends up feeling like a big eyeball with another eyeball in it.
Yeah. Big soapy eyeball. Look at that juice, boy.
Yeah.
It was cool the way they made it look around and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. No. You know, we're joking a lot about this, but I think too, as you guys have said before, the plot is really well laid out.
Yeah.
There's not, they kind of divvy out the information. We get a little bit of anxiety and tension as we go along, right? To keep your interest, even though we don't actually see the eye creatures until pretty late.
Right. Last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, we got the evil, I don't know, skin sacks, I guess, or whatever the Brett and Hans are. Some fun stuff.
Your skin is hanging off your bones.
That's very good.
It reminded me a lot of a Quatermass film. The way it was laid out, and you weren't supposed to figure out what was going on till later, but it built up to that point. Yeah. With the, I don't know which Quatermass Forrest Tucker would be, Dunleavy or the other guy, but
Dunleavy.
Yeah,
or he's like the perfect. He's the perfect in between.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was really like watching a different Quatermass film.
And it's really easy to kind of put down this movie if you're just focusing on, you know, the special effects or something. But yeah, there's so much going on. Such a good story and well paced and good acting and well written.
Yeah,
and
you didn't see a lot of decapitated heads and some of the more gruesome aspects of this movie in movies from back then. So
yeah, I mean when this body just fell and there was no head on it in the very beginning, I was like, whoa, the guy's head was totally gone.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I thought for some reason, like going into this, I thought, okay, with the plot and everything, there's talks of decapitations. I thought, okay, well, maybe there's going to be talks of it and stuff is going to be implied. So, like Daphne, when I saw that, I thought, whoa, they really did that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, given some of the effects, like especially with the eye, look kind of cheesy, but come on now. I mean, that's creative. It's fun, and even like with the whole like graphic thing of seeing the decapitations and stuff, it was still kind of strange to see. I mean, it was still cool to see.
It is a shocking scene because you see these two guys on a ledge, they're climbing the mountain and the rope going up, and they're going, hey, what's taking you so long? Whoa, you know, it's really cloudy up here, boy, it sure got cold. Wait a minute, something's coming. The next thing you know, this body drops by and it's suspended by the rope. So they're working to pull him up, thinking, you know, they don't realize he's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
and
cool.
I like how they revisited that scene at the inn. You know, so you, just in case you missed it, they covered again how the rope was around his waist, not
Yeah,
around his
yeah.
head. I mean, they review
Mhm.
that the rope pulled his head off. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, they say his rope pulled. Yeah, the rope pulled his head off. Well, you know what the villagers say,
Yeah.
and his friends too. Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's that was like I'm trying to think if I could think of any other pre-credit sequences like that opened the movie up. That's like, I think that was kind of new for the time, maybe. Grab your attention,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back, and then the next scene in the movie you get is they're riding in this train, which is
Mm-hmm.
not. So you're like going, this train is heading for the mountain where the guy's head got ripped off. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess a couple other things. There was a alternative ending in the script where Truscott phones in his newspaper story, only for his editor to accuse him of being drunk. And Brooks says, I'm off to Norway to check into some reports of unidentified flying objects.
Mm-hmm.
So again, searching science fiction movies for the UN, I guess.
Mm-hmm. The UN X-Files.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Might as well be Forrest Tucker.
Might as well.
Well, a lot of times we talk about, the idea of blue screen and acting against blue screens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to Forrest Tucker, the actors had no idea what these creatures were going to look like. They were not told. And you can see some of that stuff, like the observatory was a miniature in a lot of the scenes with the eyes. I thought it was kind of cool too. I should have put that picture out after I watched it the first time. When it first goes to that, it comes out of the credits, and then you get that shot of the train going into the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the tunnel is a big round white thing with the rails. That I don't know if it was intentional, but that looked like the crawling eye to me when I watched it the second time. It was this big white circle with the rails coming straight at you, like two legs.
Two spaghetticals.
Two spaghetticals.
Yeah.
It made me really happy when the doctor was showing Tucker the window, the cameras, and somehow they had a camera that zoomed right in.
Yeah.
To the, I love that stuff.
Yeah. There's always a camera that can do that.
Yeah, right into the guy's so climbing on the
zoomed in.
I was like, whoa!
Profile. Oh, I love.
Hey, there they are. Well,
I'm not making fun of it. I love it. I love that.
Yeah. Hey, I ask for cameras. I get what I want.
You get, all I have to ask.
So this
I
was
just say
cut to about 75 minutes in the U.S. and was 84 minutes in the UK release.
One part they could have cut out was where they go, oh, this place is the 6-foot thick concrete reinforced walls. Nothing can get through, not even an avalanche. And the creature comes along and goes,
I know.
Splits it open and goes, hi.
I know, exactly.
It is. That's exactly what I was thinking. The wall starts to crack, and I go, wait, what happened to those 6-foot walls? Well, there they are. That's all right. I know we're leaving stuff out because there's tons of little trivia things about this.
Well, I went to watch some other stuff that Sangster wrote, so I got to see some stuff that I hadn't seen before. The X the Unknown. I watched that one. I thought that was really good. I thought that was actually a really, really good. X the Unknown.
That's got the little girl in peril too, right? Isn't there a little girl that's getting the radioactive stuff is creeping up on?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, because it happens a few times where people are doing stuff and then the radioactive somehow comes up. There's always like, someone's making out and then there's the radioactive stuff. And then there was probably a girl too. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But then there was the military guys. But I thought that was and it was kind of in that same vein as like Quatermass. There's some sort of, scientific thing going on and they're investigating it. And I just thought it was really good.
Mhm.
Any more thoughts? Final thoughts we want on this?
This is a great movie. It's a fun little movie, and I really enjoy it. We've poked fun at it a lot, but
Yeah.
I agree.
Other than that, it's really a fun movie and very well written and smartly written characters.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Straight-
It is cheesy, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I wish it would be taken a little bit more seriously, but
yeah. But
there is a lot of
but
cheese.
the acting in the script is not cheesy. Just
Nope.
Right.
So
Even
this
the
was
cinematography and the photography is really good with
yes.
these dark shadows and
Yep.
it just added to the threat a little bit more. It made it feel menacing, even though nothing was really going on set at the time.
All right, so we have a ton of feedback, of which we're only going to read a part of, and we'll save some of it for later. But I wanted to do one because I don't believe anybody else has ever commented on this, or not for a long time anyway. Chad, you want to take this because you were here for this episode 16, Half Human, which was the
wow, that's going way back.
Yeah, that's the third movie. Is that the third movie Toho made?
I think something like that. Yeah,
and it was banned in Japan because of some issues in my brain is fading me. I know what it is, but like it portrayed a certain mountain
it was
people poorly.
Right. It was it put those people in a bad light, sort of racially. So, if I remember correctly, so it wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. The feedback on this episode is from Mike Zatz. He says, I had seen the American version in the late 60s on one of the local horror themed shows.
Which, by the way, is terrible. It's got
the American version. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got
Oops.
John Carradine, Old Man Carradine.
Yeah.
Like telling a story to some people, so you only get like half the movie. Anyway.
I was a youngin', so I was transfixed by the monster action. There were no scenes that I remember of the physical abuse displayed in the Japanese version, which I only saw about 7 months ago after listening to your podcast. And I will comment on the Japanese version for my feedback. The other scenes of the hunters versus their prey were unsettling, especially when they were slapping the younger creature to provoke the older one. Their comeuppance was not fully executed. They should have gone out in a more horrifically justified end. True. Unlike others in the podcast, I thought the pacing was fine. Yes, there were extended scenes of skiing and climbing, but I thought Honda's direction was quality. Many of these same actors that earlier appeared in Gojira appear here. The acting was fine, and I especially liked when separate actors displayed their grief when they discovered the death of a loved one. There was no overacting here. The grief seemed real. Like others in the podcast, Chica was the best character in the film. She had the best character arc. The others in the film seemed less three-dimensional than she, and the creature as well. That little one was some heroic creature, climbing on the cage truck in motion, trying to free the captured larger one. Great podcast by all, Joseph, Aaron, Chad, and Jeff. Where will the way back take me next? All I know is it's going to be classic.
Nice.
Thanks, Mike. Let's skip the next one. Next couple or three go down to Attack of the Crab Monsters, episode 104. Daphne, you want to take this?
Sure. Attack of the Crab Monsters. Michael Maurer. Hi, using the Wayback Machine again. I have been going through your repository of reviews and love them all so far. Keep up the reviews. I can answer Daphne's question about the sailor's uniform. Yay! Thank you, Michael. Dun, dun, dun.
I have questions of my own, so can't wait to hear this.
The entire uniform can be used for life-saving purposes. If your ship sank and you did not have a life preserver, oh, I like where this is going, you would use your clothes to float. The pants were bell-bottoms, so you can remove your pants over your boots, tie off each cuff with a knot, and zip up the pants and button them while you're in the water. Okay. While gripping the waist of the pants, sling them over your shoulder and bring it forward to catch air and use the pants as a buoy. Whoa. Amazing. The legs of the pants will go under your arms while you straddle the crotch of the pants. The legs will pop out behind you and keep you afloat.
Oh, this seems like a lot of trouble to go through.
Oh, no kidding.
When you're
just to survive. I mean,
a lot of things to remember when you're.
I've heard that before, though. I've heard of that somewhere in my life-saving training or something. But
I'd be in the water like the rabbit goes in the hole.
This is awesome. The Dixie Cup, too, was used for a flotation device. It can be inverted, filled with air, stretch your arms forward, and you will float. These techniques do work. And Jeff, in the past 100+ years, the back flap was used to protect the uniform when sailors had used grease in their ponytails. Wow. The Navy likes to hold on to their traditions.
All answers.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
You know how long I've had to watch Popeye the Sailor and never got any of this information?
You're welcome. And I just rewatched Attack of the Crab Monster. Doesn't Quatermass and the Pit 5 million years to Earth end the same exact way? A dude sacrificing himself while riding an electrified structure into the beast. Keep up the entertainment. Mike, the ex-sailor. Thank you, Mike. That was so wonderful.
Oh, man.
Yes.
I have more questions now than I had.
Follow up. That is amazing. I knew there had to be a reason. I knew it.
That's awesome, Mike. I never did. I hate to say this, but apparently it didn't bother me enough to ask my son. I'll have to ask him just to see if he knows all that stuff. Let's go down to episode 128, Mr. Sardonicus. The most recent episode, and start with Evil Genius. Can you see that, Whitney?
Yes, Evil Genius. Okay. So I was looking for a connection between Krull the movie and Krull the character, and I could not find a direct correlation. The only thing that I could think of is that maybe Stanford Sherman, who wrote Krull, the 1983 movie, perhaps watched Mr. Sardonicus in his younger days and thought, Krull, that is a very cool sounding German last name. I'll file that name away for a rainy day. It could come in useful. And as an added bonus, if you want a very tangential, sorry, I can't brain today. Tangential Batman connection.
Anyway, if you want tangenitals, you can't walk around with sailor pants.
I'm sorry, guys. My brain is not. Wow.
No reason to be sorry. Chad should be sorry.
That was not
one.
You at all. That was not you.
No, that was all me. No apology.
Oh my god.
You didn't say that.
I have brain fog today, guys. I'm sorry. I can't.
I have it every day. So.
Oh man. Anyway, what I was
Are we
saying-
demonetized
So
now?
we have a tangential Batman connection.
Tangential Batman connection. Stanford Sherman has several writing credits for the 1960s Batman TV series, and I get so stupid.
That's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, though. I think. I mean,
Oh my god. Oh my
Sardonicus has a
God.
character named Kroll, and 25 years later, there's a movie named Kroll. And the guy that wrote the movie named Kroll also wrote some Batman episodes.
Yeah, that gets you there.
And his
Yeah.
genitals. Are...
Oh my god. Stop.
That'll never. leave it alone.
Oh
You did not say that, Whitney. That was me.
Look, I wasn't sure because like my brain's kind of like I'm kind of
No.
dealing with like some brain fog today. I'm like, oh, did I say that? No, I don't know.
No, you didn't.
But,
You didn't say it, but I saw my opportunity.
no.
just went
well, you messed with me big time. Thanks for that.
That's what friends are for.
Yes, it's
Do
great.
we have the greatest listeners than anybody?
We do.
Uh,
We do.
We
They're
do.
awesome.
All right, so here's one from Mikey Z about Mr. Sardonicus. Chad?
Okay. Mikey Z says, Mikey Z.
Sorry, I'm
Massage
still laughing.
therapy. Oh, tangenitals.
Why?
It sounds like a good rock band name, right? The Tangenitals.
It does, actually.
Oh god, we should move on.
Massage therapy to the extreme. The hospital scene with the little girl brought to mind the body snatcher. The
Oh.
grinning face of Sardonicus' father and his own punishment must have been inspired by the Joker. I
When-
thought it
when did
was
the
the,
Joker-
man who laughs. I thought would
Yeah.
have been in there somewhere.
Well, I
too.
think, when did the Joker first appear? Way
Batman
back.
#1, the 1939
Oh, okay.
was it?
I could see that.
But the Joker was inspired by the man who laughs. So,
Yeah.
Which we totally have to do.
Mhm.
yes, we do. As Chad said, one of William Castle's better outings. The gimmick comes at the end and really wasn't needed. Oscar Homolka exacts his vengeance on Mr. Sardonicus after years of servitude, although he was a cruel bastard with his love of and sadistic usage of leeches.
Mhm.
Chad appeared to get a lot of rest prior to this podcast, or perhaps a gallon of coffee. He was on fire. It doesn't take a lot of
That's fuego.
it doesn't take a lot. As evidenced by today's show.
Exactly.
To Scott's comment, enjoy going through the DOH back catalog and providing feedback. I do it all the time to the consternation of the DOH Brew Crew. Great podcast crew. And yes, Whitney, I do answer to many monikers. Call me whatever you want. Can't wait for the next one. As always, it's going to be a classic,
Oh.
which this one's in the books already.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm sure it'll be in the show notes of a mention of
Well,
tan genitals.
yeah.
Oh,
And
God.
speaking of Scott, Daphne, would you take this last
Sure.
one?
And don't
Hello.
laugh.
That's impossible, unfortunately. Hello, Brew Crew. I can't tell you how shocked I was to hear you read my email on not one, but 2 of your podcasts. You really make a guy feel welcome. Aww. As luck would have it, I watched Mr. Sardonicus for the first time just about a week before your episode covering it aired. It's an intriguing film with an oddly understated gimmick for a William Castle movie. The man was, if nothing else, a showman, and I love him for it. While the punishment pole at the end did interrupt the story, it still amused me, and you can't really fault a part that makes you smile like that.
True.
I found many of the characters bland, but I did really like Kroll and his professionalism and his line, when my master says, Kroll, do this thing, I do this thing, whatever it may be, really stood out to me. This level of professionalism among evil henchmen is admirable. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
This one never got played while I was growing up, but it's a pretty solid film. Thanks for covering it. I love to find these older films that slipped through the cracks while I was growing up.
Thanks,
And-
Scott. And
yeah.
we read
Yeah.
Scott's comment on 2 podcasts because he talked about 70s, and he started out talking about classic era. So we read them both. And by the way, Scott, he probably knows by now, or will know shortly, that next film we do in the 70s will be Santo and the Blue Demon versus Dracula and the Wolfman. Dracula will be played by one of the stars of El Libro de Piedra.
Ooh.
Piedra. And I
Mm.
can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Cool.
Aldo Monti, maybe, or something Monti.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Okay.
We should mention
Yeah.
Scott's blog there too.
It's SaturdayMadTheater.blogspot.com.
check it out. Check it out. Appreciate it, Scott and Mikey Z and Evil and
Evil.
Michael Mower. I
Yeah.
mean, it's spelled like mower, but maybe it's
Yeah.
Mauer.
Mower. Sorry.
Please email us with the proper pronunciation of your name.
We'll still mess it up.
We'll still
If
get
you-
it
you
wrong.
haven't said through these guys already, so thanks so much. We really appreciate
Yeah, that's
it. Especially
awesome.
Yeah.
pumping out some of those, talking about some of those old episodes. That's it for this episode, but every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 1920 and 1969. Next up, chosen by Daphne. I gotta use 3 syllables now officially.
It's pronounced Daphne, but
Daphne. I'm sorry.
yeah.
What does that mean in Greek?
Tangenitals.
Oh, God. I'm out. I'm
shit.
That's what I heard.
That's what you heard.
Oh.
We don't just
me.
mess up names. We mess up just other words.
Yeah. Words is hard.
Words are
Words
hard.
are very hard.
Words is
Using
very hard.
Hard.
Yes. I can't brain today.
I can't breathe.
Coffee might just fix whatever's
So
wrong
what?
here. I don't
What are we doing next, Daphne?
Kill,
Define
baby,
me.
kill.
Kill, baby, kill.
Kill, baby, kill.
Nice.
Mario
It's gonna be
Bava.
found on Classic Horror Movie Channel, Shudder, and Canopy. For anybody wanting to watch it first.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, join us for that. That's going to be a blast. I haven't seen that one, so I'm glad you.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Is that a
I've
Jess
been-
Franco joint?
The
Mario
Kill
Bava.
What, Mario
Mario
Bava.
Bava? Okay, yeah, you said okay. It sounds like Jess Franco though.
It's got to, yes.
if he had 10
Uh-huh.
genitals, it's maybe. But
That does tend to put you in a bad mood. I heard.
Want to
Again,
kill.
so if you have
something-
any comments about today's carefully constructed and worded episode,
Well curated, very well put together.
please leave feedback on the gruesome YouTube channel or send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com. Love to hear from you. So please subscribe and share. Tell your other friends who don't have anybody to talk to about all the horror movies they love. To give us a
But
listen.
warn
or watch.
them, it's not for prudes or the faint of heart.
Stuff happens
Yeah,
sometimes.
junk happens on here that editing tools just can't get rid of.
I've given up on editing.
See,
Catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the classic eras. Only decades of horror can do it. Say goodnight, guys.
good night, guys.
All right, guys.
Gruesome Magazine.